All right, everybody. Shalom and welcome to the Yishai Fleischer Show. We got a crazy, awesome show lined up for you today. Thank you so much for being with me. We're going to start the show a little bit by waiting for everybody to come in, and I got to create like a 5-minute intro, which I'm going to do soon. But in the meantime, I'm here with you. But let's let everybody in. Let's let everybody come and visit us and join us to discuss. I'm looking forward to discuss with you many issues that are on my mind, and I hope that are on your mind as well. And of course, to send you blessings from the land of blessings. All right, so we're going to just take a few more minutes and wait for everybody to join us. B'ezrat Hashem. I want to thank my producer, Yo, for being with me here. And we're going to talk about a big issue today, which I'm, I guess, not looking forward to discussing in the sense that I'm not happy to hear about the push for Palestinian statehood again. I thought we were past that issue, and yet it comes back again and again and again. So we're going to knock that out today in just a minute. In the meantime, as we welcome you in, I want to ask everybody that's here to say shalom and which country you're from, where you're from in around the world. And so we could kind of wait for everybody. In the meantime, you guys say hello. So shalom. Terry says shalom to Yishai from Australia. Shalom. And I want to hear from more people. Tell me exactly what country you're from, where you're from, where you're watching, and send blessings. Here, for example, look at this. Dear Mr. Yishai, Mr. Fleischer, Iranian people send love and greetings to you in Israel. That's awesome. That is just starting my evening, my show off so awesomely. Thank you very much for that great message. Of course, we got shalom from New York by Rick, and Texas says shalom, and California says shalom, Colorado says shalom, Michigan says shalom, Manitoba says shalom. So good. California says shalom. Massachusetts. You know, it's one of the hardest things for Israelis to say is Massachusetts to say shalom. Fairlawn, New Jersey, of course. Nothing like awesome Fairlawn, and I know Fairlawn well. And Portugal, shalom. Cape Town, South Africa. And so many people are coming in from all over the place. Such a beautiful thing. I love it. Long Island. So everybody, wherever you're coming from, please say shalom. And we'll start off the show in just a minute. This is an important note. I'll save it for later. Shalom, Portugal. All right. People are standing with Israel. Amen. Thank you so much. All right. We got South Africa Springs. In the meantime, it was a very rainy Shabbat. Shalom to the Czech folks, Czech Republic, Indiana. Shalom. British Columbia. Shalom. Wonderful to see all of you from everywhere around the world. That's right. Keep telling me where you're from. Ohio, Zambia, Ontario. Woo! So fun. I love this technology. Thank you, Hashem, for this technology. It's amazing. Evanston, Illinois. Wonderful. What a gift it is to be able to chat with you from all over the world. Absolutely. Look at this, my Serbian friends. Did I get that right? Oh, that's Evanston. Hold on. Where's my friends from Serbia? There they are. Shalom from Serbia. Okay, Yocheved, you can put it up if you want. That's fine. Great. From Kurdistan. What is that? Is that northern Iraq? Northern Iraq Autonomous Kurdish Region? Amazing. Sierra Leone. Oh my gosh. Everybody that also, not only are you guys giving me blessings, but I can hear that you also need some blessings, and I'm sending it to you indeed. Absolutely. What an amazing technology it is. What an amazing opportunity it is to talk to people all over the world. And I know that all of you guys, Shalom, Nebraska, I know that so many of you and most of you, probably all of you, love the land of Israel, the Jewish people, and see the gift of Hashem's returning the Jewish people to the land of Israel. I see somebody from Xavier's from Paramus. I went to school in Paramus, New Jersey for a while. All right. For 3 years. So very, very shalom, a fellow Israeli resident, proud of our little country, ex-South African. That's right. Our country is little in size, but not little in influence and not little in world history. In fact, we're going to talk about that in just a minute about world history. I have a great video. Shalom from Australia. We already had Australia. There's folks from Vegas and from Ireland. Do we have an Ireland in there? There you go. Hello from Ireland. God bless you. Okay, and before we start the show, now that people are coming in, before we go full steam, I just want to remind you the rules. If there are rules on the internet, and if I can have any right to rules, I just want to remind you that on our chat, we stay nice. We don't abuse one another, and we don't abuse the platform by proselytizing to other religions. If you want to do that, as we say in Jewish and Yiddish, Gesundheit, go to a different channel and you can do it all you want. Here, this is Torah True, Torah for the Nations, International Torah Community, Orthodox, Israel, loving of God. That's what we're doing here. If you love a different religion, you are welcome to it. And we will honor and respect that. But remember that we're not going to proselytize that. Can't have my platform be a platform for something else that I don't believe in and that I don't want to see promoted. That doesn't make sense. So thank you very much. And thank you very much to Yo. And Rick says, I bought some of your shirts. They are great. Hey, that's great, Rick. Come on. Do a solid and send a picture of yourself with that shirt, and we'll definitely post that, and that'll make people very happy. And we have great shirts at Yishai Fleischer TV, and we are so happy that you bought one of those shirts, and I want to see them on you. I want to see them on you. I want to see them on you. Okay, and don't forget, you are watching Yishai Fleischer TV, that you can like, comment, subscribe, and be part of it. Okie dokie, let's get to it. Hold on, before we get to it, something's bothering my eye. See, it's bothering my eye. And also, I haven't had my tea, and I want to make a blessing. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Shakol Niya B'Dvaro. Can I get an amen out there? Can I get an amen? Blessed are you, God, King of the universe, who everything is created by his word. Can I get an amen? Give me an amen. This cup is being shown to you backwards, but the cup is indigenous Judean. Indigenous Judean. You can get that at Yishai Fleischer TV. That is some green tea with matcha. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of matcha in your life, you know. Little macho Jewish state. Little matcha will get you going and bring you much into it. Okay, now let's get comfortable and let's start talking business here. By the way, it was not a restful weekend, because this weekend was the amazing ingathering of the Jewish people to Hebron to celebrate the purchase of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. Abraham's first purchase in the land of Israel. It was awesome. It was unbelievable. Do you want to see what it looked like? Do you want to see what it looked like in Hebron this Shabbat? Well, let's see. I want to show you a little bit of what that looked like this Shabbat. Hold on one second. See, the thing is, I had this crazy Shabbat. Then I had an afternoon event today with Itamar Ben-Gvir, the Minister of National Security. So all that all together was just very intense. But just to show you a little kind of video to give you a sense of what the Shabbat looked like. This is a video not from this Shabbat, because this Shabbat was also rainy, but this is a little bit of a feeling of what it looks like Shabbat Chai Sarah.
Yom Rishon, Yom Sheni, Yom Shlishi, Yom Revi'i, Yom Chamishi, Shishi.
You know what? This video is actually going to make trouble for me because of the music, I realize now. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to play that music. I don't want to be like, oh, no, you used somebody else's music. I'm sorry. Somebody else did it, and I played the video. My mistake. Okay. How am I going to show you what happened this Shabbat at Chai Sarah? I want to. First thing is that there was unbelievable amount of rain. There was unbelievable amount of rain. Just to show you that. We haven't had rain here in the land of Israel for like 2 years, practically. Okay. We barely had any rain in the last 2 years. And then the Lord decided that this is going to be the time that we're going to have a ton of rain. And it was just something that the rain in Hebron fell mainly in the plain of everybody that had tents. And I just want to show you one video, which is a video that you have never seen the likes of in your life. Hold on. Here we go. This is going to be called water. Let's call this water. Here we go. Are you watching this video? Check this out. This is the amount of water that we had in Hebron. Oh no! There was so much water in Hebron. It was raining. It was unbelievable. See this. Somebody wrote, "Noah, flood you sinners." I don't know what he means. Does he think it was a flood? No, it was not a flood. It was the opposite. It was rain of blessings. Because the Jewish people got together in Hebron, there was a rain of blessings. Okay, because we prayed together. Then we didn't have a flood. It wasn't, somebody says it's a mini flood, the flood is back. Negative. It wasn't a flood. It was just a lot of beautiful rain because as Kim says, rain is a blessing. And indeed, that's what happened. We had a lot of blessings. Okay, that was all preamble to today's show. Let's get to it right now. And let's talk about the issue of cooking up a Palestinian state in the heartland of the Holy Land. Does that sound smart to you? You have a tiny country called Israel. We have an ancestral homeland in the mountain range in the center of the country. And now, guess what? The Americans want to be at it again. Instead of protecting Israel, they want to divide Israel. They want to get together with Saudis and the Qataris and fulfill what? The jihadist ambition to divide Israel and destroy Israel. Let's watch news coverage from ILTV to understand really what's going on.
In a significant diplomatic development coming out of the United Nations Security Council, the United States is pushing forward a draft resolution that includes Trump's comprehensive plan for the Gaza ceasefire. The UN will vote Monday on the draft that is framed as, quote, a credible pathway to Palestinian self-determination and statehood.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Let me just get this straight. So basically, we were attacked by jihadis from land that Israel ceded to Hamas, to the enemies of Israel. It ceded it first to the Palestinian Authority, and then Hamas took it over. They attacked us from that land that they built a base. Instead of using it to build hospitals in a free world and a free economy, they used it as a forward base of jihadist operation against Israel. They understood that Israel was weak instead of strong. People like myself were saying, you're signaling the wrong thing. When you give away your land, they don't think that you're compromising for peace. And it's really beautiful that you're willing to share your heartland with another people because you're committed to peace. And all these Israelis that thought it was going to look good in the Arab eyes because they'll believe that we want peace. More than anything, we want peace. They didn't want peace. They wanted pieces of you until they got all of you. And they understood that you're giving away the land. You're weak. Weakness is what they understood. And now they attacked us hard. They attacked us hard on October the 7th, 2 years ago. And altogether, almost 2,000 people have been killed through the war, through the initial attack and then the following war. And how was this war supposed to end? It was supposed to end with such a complete and total vanquishment of the enemy that the women of the jihad would be like, Allahu Akbar, what happened to us? But instead, they're going, la, 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 la. Because instead of destroying every last jihadi, instead of taking over the land and resettling it, we, dilly-dallied and killed a lot of folks but destroyed a lot of houses, but didn't finish the job, like you didn't finish a cancer, like my wife Malka says. And so we did not send a signal to the jihad that you're done for forever. We did not send a signal to the international community that we ain't never leaving this part again. We did not enunciate a new policy that said clearly that whenever you start with Israel and you lose any land to Israel, you will lose it and forfeit it forever, which is the policy of it, should be the policy of Israel, should be the enunciated policy of Israel. When you start up with this and you lose land to us, which you will, in war, you will lose it forever. Instead, we've allowed a whole section to remain in their hands, a ton of their fighters to continue to control everything, including the food, and all the so-called humanitarian aid. Let's call it jihad aid. And instead of signaling to the world with clarity instead of signaling to the world with clarity that we shall never leave and that we're here back forever and that jihad has nothing on us and that what we give back to the jihad is total destruction, instead of doing that, we did not signal that totally. We signaled to them, well, maybe you have a place to stay. Maybe there is some place that we can negotiate with you. And of course, then the Americans got involved. And instead of what they promised that they would do, which is to see the ridding of the jihad and Hamas, instead they're saying now, well, maybe Hamas will stay. And now maybe the Turks and the Qataris will help fix up Gaza, repair Gaza. You mean keep it jihadi? Because these are jihadist supporters. And now the Americans, sensing that we're not going to take care of business, have gone over to the other side. Their business partners, the Saudis and the Qataris, they're literally their business partners. Literally their business partners. And if you want to put a nice spin on it, you can explain that they're actually very ignorant, both the Americans and those Jewish Americans, Kushner and Witkoff. Maybe you can explain that they're actually ignorant, that they think that the so-called Palestinian jihad is like the nice Qatari folks that they've met who've been, schooled in Oxford and stuff. Maybe they think that they're that kind. I want to make a deal. But they're not. They're jihadis. And so are the Qataris and the Saudis. That's the real truth. Okay. Now they got together. Now they're going to the United Nations, right? They're going to the United Nations to make a Security Council resolution to fix Gaza, and to what? And to 2 years after the October 7th attack, to now enshrine under Trump, mind you, a Palestinian state. Well, it looks like that it all came together, didn't it? The woke right in America, the sick left in America, together with their business dealings with Qatar. So put it all together, Tucker, Qatar, the left, and guess what? And the weakness of Israel. Put those four things together, right? The woke right, the left, the Qatari money, and the weakness of Israel. And guess what you have? You have a Trump who's now making a deal with the Saudis to keep Gaza under the control of Hamas and Jihad. Let's keep listening to this comprehensive plan for endless war here in the Middle East.
Signaling Washington's support for a path that leads to Palestinian statehood. The conditions still include Palestinian Authority reforms and construction efforts in the Gaza Strip. The United States signed a joint statement with Arab nations in support of his 20-point plan to end the war. The language of the resolution is reportedly stronger than what President Trump himself has publicly said. The question looms large in Israel, with Washington now signing a document that explicitly promotes a pathway to Palestinian statehood. Is this possibly a turning point in U.S. policy? And what will it mean for Jerusalem's firm opposition to any such framework?
Firm opposition to any such framework, right? Why? Because Netanyahu says all the time, I'm against Palestinian statehood. If you're against it, then destroy this thing that's creating Palestinian statehood in our land. You can say that you protested, but if you don't get rid of it, then it's like somebody coming into the cancer ward being like, I am 100% against this cancer, but I don't want to do anything about it, and it's growing inside. So what? Oh, because you protested it, you made a statement against it. This is where the weak policy has led us today. The weak policy of the Netanyahu government, the unclear policy, and the erosion of our supporters on the right in the United States, and certainly on the left. Weak Israeli policies have led to both kinds of erosion. And of course, the powerful influence of the Qatari money and the Saudi money and the make a deal with Trump, and then the bad influence of American Jews. I'll put that as a fifth. I'll put that as a fifth. The bad influence of other actors who think that they're going to make peace in the Middle East by giving away Israel's land. You're not going to make peace. You're going to make continuous war. Your ideas, the completely uncreative ideas, the completely done ideas that have been done so many times previous, you want to do it again. And you're gonna act smart. It's gonna sound smart. well, we're going to give a part to, and they're going to reform. Yeah, the PA is going to reform. The PA is not going to reform. Have you ever heard? Did you ever hear like Elliot Ness or Rudy Giuliani being like, I know we should make sure that the mob will reform. Let's put the mob into a reform thing. Maybe they could become a reformed mob. You ever hear when Giuliani was prosecuting the mob in New York that he was going to reform them? Was that going to happen? You don't reform the mob. You can't reform the mob. The mob is unreformable. They're the mob. You can't reform the jihad, either the suit and tie jihad or the kafia jihad. You can't reform it. Sorry.
And while we wait for Jerusalem's response, Trump powers ahead with his plans to normalize ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia. His plan, selling F-35s to the Saudis.
In Hebrew we say, Po kavur kelev. Here is where the dog is buried. That's what we say in Hebrew. This is what it's all about, isn't it? There's money. There's money to be made. F-35s to Saudi Arabia. $1 trillion deal with Qatar. Who knows? Maybe you can nationalize some of the oil fields, gas fields off of Israel's shores if you're going to be in control of Gaza. A sweetness. There's a sweet smell. It's a good deal. The art of the deal. You see, my Turkish friends want it. Erdogan, my new good-smelling friend Giuliani wants it. The Qataris want it. The Saudis want it. There's a lot of money there. There's a lot of Trump casinos that could be, built in various places. It's sweet. It's sweet. It's sweet right there. It's going to be good for the American businesses. They're going to be selling arms. Oh, the arms folks, they're a powerful lobby. You think AIPAC's a powerful lobby? Believe me that Grumman is a bigger lobby than AIPAC. Okay, they're better friends over there. Don't worry about that. They are better friends. And so now we're starting to understand the picture of how this really looks like. Okay, Israel's a little bit weak. The Qataris are strong. The money's strong. The Turks are strong. The Saudis are strong. And 2 years after an attack from a jihadist entity that took over Gaza, now it's going to be a part of international law, the recognition of a jihadi-controlled Gaza. Why not? If Giuliani can control Syria, he's a jihadi. If Erdogan, if we're cool with Erdogan, if we're cool with Qatar, that is run by the ideas of Qaradawi, right? If we're cool with all these jihadis, why not in Gaza? Israel's obviously cool with it. And it's going to make a little bit of money. It's matok. It's sweet. It's sweet to me.
Speaking abroad, Air Force One, Trump confirmed that Riyadh
Which Air Force One? The nice new one?
Wants to purchase, quote, a lot of F-35s. Have a listen.
I'm looking at that. They've asked me to look at it. They want to buy a lot of 35, but they want to buy actually more than that fighter jets, yeah.
Well, the Abraham Accords getting Saudi Arabia.
And the Abraham Accords will be a part. We're going to be discussing. I hope that Saudi Arabia will be going into the Abraham Accords fairly shortly.
Wait, you know what? Saudi Arabia and the Abraham Accords sounds nice. But is there going to be an Israel? Shrinking, erosion. I mean, I know there's going to be an Israel because I believe in Hashem. I believe in this nation. I believe in God. But like this Abraham Accord stuff, it's starting to become a problem, not a benefit. I'm like Mr. Abraham Accords. I love it. I love making relationships with our regional Arabs. But the way you do it is through strength. They respect you. This shrinking Israel in favor of a jihadist Gaza, the Abraham Accords are they're going to be nothing but lip service. They're not going to respect you. They want to eat you. They want to eat you alive. Okay. And when they smell weakness, it's like that shark in Finding Nemo. Ooh, that smell. Smell of weak Jews. Yum, 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 yum. No. Jews are friends, not food. The smell. Okay. That's what I want. And when Jews are weak, it's because the blood goes right into their nostrils over there in jihad land. Remember the Saudis, right? Don't let them fool you. These are the guys who invented Wahhabism. Wahhabism, friendly name for Sunni jihadism, right? So if we're weak, That smell of blood. And a few F-35s. Everybody's a winner. And the Jews are shrinking. Maybe we'll get rid of them in toto.
The push for a deal between the U.S. and the Saudis comes just days before Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman arrives at the White House for high-stakes.
Look, this is what I have to sell to you. I've got this blimp, F-35. Look at Chinook. I could sell it to you. I could make a very good deal. Nobody's ever heard of a deal like this. This deal is so good. I can make you a deal. Come on, let's make a deal. You know, I wrote a book, The Art of the Deal. Look at this. Look at this deal making. It's like, look at the picture. It's like mamash, like a Middle Eastern shuk, a Middle Eastern market. Look at it. Look at that smile. Yes, my friend. Please sell me. Sell me the F-35. I'll sell you some oil. We'll build the Trump casino. Casino is illegal in Mecca, but in my new city, Neom, it will be very successful new Trump casino. You will like it very much.
Talks. The report says Trump told the Crown Prince in a phone call last month that now that Washington has brokered a ceasefire in Gaza, he expects Riyadh to take steps toward normalization. U.S. officials say the message was clear.
I like him in the longer beard. Do you agree with me? When he's got the longer beard, MBS, I like that a little bit better. The short cropped, I don't know, less trust kind of. When he has the longer beard, I'm like, that's a serious Arab. You know what I mean? When you do that thing, I just think you're some kind of, playboy in London. I don't like that. I don't trust you here. I want to see you with the longer beard. Okay, buddy?
Here, we delivered what you asked for. Now it's your turn. The White House meeting is on Tuesday and is expected to focus on a possible U.S.-Saudi defense pact. Israeli officials arguing that regional cooperation with the Gulf could transform the Middle East, but not at the cost of Israel's security. Defense officials are closely monitoring the talks, with Israel's qualitative military edge protected by U.S. law. Any transfer of advanced F-35s to Saudi Arabia would require strict safeguards. Officials stress that concern is not only the current Saudi government, but long-term regional risks, including future regime shifts for foreign intelligence penetration. And
So do you understand what she's saying? Let me give you the explanation of what she's trying to say. She's saying that what the Israelis are really worried about is that the Saudis are going to have too many of these F-35 advanced planes. Okay. And if they do that, then the regional power, it could shift, that they'll have more advanced planes and rockets and intel gathering capability. And she's saying that the Israelis are nervous about that. But she's not saying that Israelis are nervous about creating a Palestine in our heartland. Let me tell you something. We can deal with the Saudi pilots, okay? We can deal with the Saudi pilots. We could deal with Saudi airplanes. What we can't deal with is the erosion of our heartland and filling it with weapons and jihadism and the erasure of the Jewish story. That's a much bigger challenge and story than this concern about, Saudi having too many airplanes. I mean, really, and the shift in policy that the Americans are going to back a two-state thing, not under Obama, but under Trump, and that this alliance now is stronger between Trump and the Saudis and the Qataris and the Turks, right? It's stronger now than it was under Obama, and our relationship has weakened, and we just look like mud. Israel looks like mud in the United States. I mean, things are shifting. Like, Israel better have a wake up. You better wake up. Now, if you want to wake up and say, listen, we need our independence and we're going to do our own policy altogether, that's a kind of wake up. I could deal with that. If you want to get back to American good graces, less good, but I can understand that. But this current alignment, it's out of control. We're neither here nor there. Not a good policy. You should say, you know what, America, no thanks. We're dealing with Gaza by ourselves. Thanks a lot. Thanks. But you know what? We're a sovereign country. We have a problem. We're going to deal with the Gazans ourselves. Thanks so much. We're allied, but step back, step out, and American Jews, Kushner, Witkoff, go to Saudi Arabia, go to Qatar, go make your deals, leave us alone. That's one way. Another way is trying to get back into good graces, explaining why Israel is your real partner in this region. Okay, but I don't think you're making that case right now. So you have to make a case for independence. But no matter what, though, right now, America is getting in our business and doing the same old, which is trying to shrink our homeland, this time at the Security Council.
Ceasefire in Gaza has been holding over the weekend, but not without incident.
When are media people going to stop selling us crud as though it's as though they're feeding us food? It's the ceasefire holding, but not without incident. She literally just said that. The ceasefire is holding, but not without incident. You mean to say it's not really holding? There's incidents all the time. They're shooting at us and we're shooting back. The whole ceasefire is a sham. It's nothing but a Muslim hudna. You know what a hudna is? It's a break in order to rearm. That's all it is. That's all it is. Stop calling it a ceasefire. It's holding, but with incidents. So it's not holding. Just start telling us the truth.
IDF confirmed the elimination of a terror operative who crossed Gaza's yellow line and entered the IDF-controlled area.
Why does everything have to be yellow? Yellow. I don't like yellow. I don't like yellow. When Jews had to wear the yellow star, I don't like yellow. And I don't like the yellow hostages ribbon. I don't like it. I don't want to wear yellow. I like yellow as a color, and I like the sun a lot. I like yellow. I have nothing against the color yellow. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm anti the color yellow. I'm anti wearing yellow things, and I'm anti yellow lines. What you have is, it should be a black line, a red line. Cross this line, this black line, and you're going to die. When you have a yellow line, it's like, don't cross the yellow line. Yellow is like the color you usually walk on. Am I right? Like in the airplane, they're like, the lights will light up, and that's the exit row right there. The exit out of the airplane from the back and to the sides and also in the front, and you'll follow the yellow. No, you don't make yellow lines when you have an intractable, bloodthirsty enemy. You make a black line. Cross this line, you're gonna die. Okay? Don't make a yellow line. Stop with this peace stuff.
As the terrorist approached troops, he was quickly identified and eliminated. The IDF added it remains deployed in Gaza in accordance with the ceasefire guidelines and will continue.
We're deployed in Gaza in accordance with the ceasefire guidelines, because like they told us that this is what we got. This is what we got to play. We got to play within the lines. We draw within the lines because the teacher said we got to draw within the lines. So we're inside of Gaza because we're that's according to the ceasefire agreement that we signed on. Oh my God, you sound so nerdy. Say we're in Gaza because it's our land and our land forever. We're never leaving this land. Bad guys are going to leave, okay? They're the ones that are going to leave. We ain't never leaving, not because of the ceasefire guidelines, okay? For God's sakes, be gutsy and big and strong. Stop saying sissy, ninny, wimpy-sounding things.
Removing any threats. Troops of the Shimshon Brigade, together with Yahalom IDF combat engineers, demolished a kilometer-long tunnel over the weekend. This in the footage that you are seeing on your screens now. Now, this underground tunnel was used by Hamas terrorists to kill 3 IDF soldiers of the Shimshon Brigade exactly 11 months ago. Captain Eli Gavriel Atedgi, Staff Sergeant Netanel Pesach, and Sergeant First Class in the Reserves Hillel Diner, may they all be of blessed memory.
May their blood be avenged. May their blood be avenged. Don't give us the weenie version. In Judaism, when Jews are killed in the line of fire by Jew haters, we say, Hashem yinkom damo, may God avenge their blood. May their memory be a blessing. May we avenge their blood. May we clean out the jihad so not another hair falls. May we spill the blood of our enemies, those that want to destroy Israel. Our rabbis tell us, our sages tell us, Hakam lo gechash kem lo go. When somebody wakes up to kill you, get up earlier and get them. So do me a favor and use the proper lingo when we're fighting a war. This is a war, lady. It's not like playtime with Mr. Rogers, Mr. Jihadi, playtime with the yellow line. We're here because the teacher said. No, it's not. May their memory be a blessing. Maybe there be a light. May we avenge their blood, destroy our enemies. Let's be real. This is war. I'm not talking crazy talk. I'm talking normal talk from when you're at war with your enemies. Go around the world and you'll see the same. Why does it have to be different here? Why do we have to be so nice with the white gloves with our enemies? Why?
Fallen heroes like Hillel Diner, who left behind a young widow of just 21 years old, are still being mourned by their families and communities. And with the demolition of the tunnel in which they perished, these families get even the tiniest glimpse of closure. But there are families who have yet to receive closure, as the body of Meni Godard, age 73, was returned from Hamas captivity over the weekend 3 hostages still remain. Staying hostage Dror Master Sergeant Ran Gvili and Thai national Sudisak Rintalak.
I hope that those bodies come back. I do. I really do. But the way she said it is also a bit of a fib. She said 3 hostages remaining. No. 2 things I want to say about that. Dead hostages are bodies, and maybe we get their remains. But don't tell me that the 3 hostages are remaining, because when you use that language, you might be saying, well, we have to do more to make peace and to get the bodies back and do all kinds of crazy stuff. No, there are 3 bodies left. Okay. Now destroy the enemies and don't wait for those 3 bodies to come home. Plus, there's one more thing I want to say. I keep on wanting to say this. I want to say this, and I want everybody to hear this very clearly. There's one more hostage that we don't seem to ever talk about. That hostage is the land of Israel itself. The land of Israel is held hostage by the jihad. The land of Israel is held hostage by Hamas, by Gaza, by the Gazans. Okay. When it's not in Israeli control, that land is a hostage. That land is a living being, the land of Israel. It's our land. It's our motherland. It's our beloved land. When it's held hostage, it's also just as painful as those hostages that are being held. All right, let's just for a second watch Netanyahu as he starts reacting to this diplomatic tsunami that's happening right now. All right, let's watch this. All right. Hold on one second. Here's Netanyahu walking into the cabinet meeting. Okay, so he's actually announcing, saying for the first time kind of publicly that we are going to go towards election in a year's time, and that's when elections are actually slated for, not early elections.
אבל בתקופה הזאת של שנת בחירות אנחנו עדים למתקפת פריימריז, גם מתוך הליכוד וגם מחוץ עליו.
All right, so he's saying that we see kind of a war already of memes happening in Israeli politics.
והנושאים שדנים בהם כל הזמן, זה מתקפת ציוצים שאני לא זוכר, בנושאים ביטחוניים קודם כל. אני אמרתי, אני עשיתי, אני התקנתי. וגם נושאים שקשורים בביטחון הלאומי שלנו. אני מזכיר שהנושאים הללו נקבעים בתיאום עם ראש הממשלה, שהוא אחראי לזה. עכשיו אני רוצה להתייחס לשני נושאים ספציפיים. הנושא הראשון, הנושא של אי פירוז לכאורה של החלק של עזה שנמצא בידי החמאס.
Okay, so he wants to talk about firstly about the fact that Hamas has not been disarmed. Okay, has not been disarmed. Hamas has not been disarmed, and so people are criticizing him for that.
לא יהיה דבר כזה. גם בתוכנית 20 הנקודות ובכל דבר אחר, השטח הזה יפורז.
Okay, look at this mistranslation. They say this area will be hardened and Hamas will disintegrate completely. I don't know. They're using AI and it's all misunderstood. He's saying that this land, Gaza, will become demilitarized and Hamas will become disarmed. Okay, people are asking him. He's saying even in the Trump 20-point plan, it says that this area will be Hamas, demilitarized Hamas and disarmed Hamas.
החמאס יתפרק מנשקו. או שזה יקרה בדרך הקלה, או שזה יקרה בדרך הקשה. ככה.
Okay, he says it's either going to happen the easy way or the hard way. Indeed, Hamas will be disarmed, he says.
אמרתי, אני וכך אמר גם הנשיא טראמפ. ובאשר למדינה פלסטינית, ההתנגדות שלנו למדינה פלסטינית בשטח כלשהו, מערב לירדן, ההתנגדות הזאת קיימת ושרירה, היא לא השתנתה כהוא זה.
Okay, he says our commitment is to stand firmly against a Palestinian state. Remember, by the way, that Israel still allows a Palestinian authority to operate within Judea and Samaria and to pay money to terrorists, right? So you could say that you don't want a Palestinian state. Fact is, tremendous population growth of Arabs in Judea and Samaria. There might be up to 2 million there today, and there's 2 million Arabs in Gaza. So you've given away Gaza. Netanyahu voted for it. You could say that you're against the Palestinian state west of the Jordan River, which he just did, but you still allow Palestinian Authority to exist and to get international recognition. And now it's going to the Security Council with U.S. approval.
אני עודף את הניסיונות הללו כבר עשרות שנים.
I'm pushing back, he says, these efforts tens of years, right? In 1997, he gave away most of Hebron to the Palestinian Authority. He gave speeches talking about a two-state solution, the Bar Ilan speech. He what barely stood against the Gaza giveaway in 2005, but he's telling us that he's against a Palestinian state. I'm trying to push them back, says Netanyahu.
ועושה את זה גם מול לחצים מן החוץ ולחצים מבית.
I fight pressures internally and externally.
אני לא זקוק לחיזוקים וציוצים והרצאות.
He doesn't need lectures from anybody. Hey, buddy, you're a public official, and you'll get the lectures if we so deem it. It's called democracy. Here I am lecturing you. Okay? Yeah, you're giving away the land of Israel. Yeah, you've allowed a diplomatic tsunami to come up against us. Okay? You don't want my tweets. You don't want other ministers to tweet. Stop giving away the land of Israel. I don't need reinforcements, tweets, lectures from anybody. I think you do. Okay? Sue me.
מצד איש, לאחרונה אנחנו עדים לשני סוגים של התפרעויות שאנחנו דוחים מכל וכל. אחד זה ההתפרעות נגד נבחרי ציבור.
He says that there's a kind of violence out there in the streets against elected officials.
והייתה אלימות כזאת נגד חברנו רק אתמול. חבר הכנסת בן צור, זה מיעוט קטן מאוד, הוא לא מייצג את הציבור החרדי.
All right, he's talking about ultra-Orthodox striking against ultra-Orthodox Knesset members, and he says this is a minority. It's not really something that's a very wide phenomenon.
אבל צריך להילחם בהפרות חוק האלה בכל הכוח, וכך נעשה.
But we have to fight illegal behavior.
השני הוא גם נעשה על ידי מיעוט שנכנס ליהודה ושומרון, לא מייצג את ציבור המתיישבים הגדול, שומרי החוק ונאמנים.
And he's talking about now so-called extremist settler violence. He says it's a minority of minorities. It does not represent the Jews of Judea and Samaria. However, it's a reality.
המדינה, וגם נגדם ההתפרעויות הללו.
And rioting against Arabs and against IDF soldiers.
גם נגד חיילי צה"ל, גם נגד פלסטינים, גם נגד חיילי צה"ל. אנחנו נפעל נגד זה בכל הכוח, משום שאנחנו מדינת חוק.
We're a law-abiding country. We're going to fight with all our strength against these phenomena. But fighting the phenomena of the Palestinian Authority school books that teach to murder Jews to children, that has not really been fought, has it? All the talk about the pay to slay, we know that October 7th murderers came out millionaires from Israeli prisons because the Palestinian Authority paid terrorists that you, Netanyahu, released. So you have a Palestinian Authority, you have murderous terrorists getting paid by them, and now they're being released by the Israeli government, and you don't want me to give you speeches? You don't want to hear my tweets? It's bothering you in an election year? Let it bother you. It bothers me when murderers are in Judea and Samaria after our army sacrificed lives to nab these guys. It bothers me that the state of Israel still allows a Palestinian Authority to control our holy land. And these guys, not only are they murderers, they pay for murderers, and everybody knows it. They teach their kids evil under our nose. So you're going to keep getting speeches from me. Yeah, you will, okay? Until this evil is removed. And you, sir, are allowing it to be there. With all of your good things, and there's no doubt that you've achieved many good things, please, don't tell me not to tell you. Don't tell us not to tell you, because we know what's really up around here. We're not stupid. Yeah. A land of law operates lawfully. A land of law operates lawfully, allows under law the Palestinian Authority to control our land and to teach murder against the Jewish people. That is absolutely reprehensible, and I'm sickened by it. I'm sickened by this thing, and I'm sickened by the reality. And now that reality is turning on us vis-a-vis the Americans, vis-a-vis the Security Council. The Saudis and the Americans are going into the Security Council. Oh my gosh, just disgusting and a missed opportunity. But now, my friends, we're going to turn that opportunity. We're going to use it to our advantage. We're going to say it's time for independence. We're going to remove people from office that are weak. We're going to do that in the next elections. We're going to turn this thing around. We're going to bring good, God-fearing people, Israel-loving people into the fold, and we're going to push back against this evil. First thing we're going to do is we're going to help refugees leave. We're going to encourage voluntary immigration from the Arabs that live in Judea and Samaria and Gaza. We're going to help them leave. And it looks like one airplane out of South Africa left, picked up about 130, 140 refugees and sent them to South Africa, where they've been accepted. South Africa, very pro-Palestine. And now they are being amazingly gracious and hosting so-called Palestinians in South Africa. Here's the airplane that has left the Holy Land and come to the great country of South Africa, which is generously welcoming Palestinian refugees. Let's take a look.
غزة هربين من الموت على جنوب أفريقيا. الحكومة في جنوب أفريقيا مش راضية تستقبلنا. إحنا هنا عالقين في المطار نرجو المساعدة.
وصلنا بعد عناء شاق الله بيعلم فيه يومين مستمرين من الشقاء والعناء من الباصات ومن الطيارات. تفاجأنا مفاجأة حزينة جدا إنه الدولة مش راضية تستقبلنا لنفوت، بس لأنه إحنا ناس جايين من حرب اجتراح. أنا ما في عندي أي مكان أي ملجأ. إحنا وين نروح؟ بكفي.
Okay, so this lady is saying, she's trying to get away from the war. And she's asking for South Africa to open its arms. And it says, somebody writes, South Africa will welcome them. And indeed, that's what has happened. South Africa did let them, and other people are writing, South Africa can take in 2 million of these people. They certainly can. And if you think about it, really, if you put together all the Arab country, all the pro-Arab countries, right, that want to, that keep talking about, Palestine and this and that and genocide, there's so many of them. Let's just think, off the top of my head, there's Spain. Do you know how big Spain is? It's really big. Spain, France, the Supreme Court of France said that they were taking refugees. Ireland, the Irish could take them. What other countries should take in these refugees? Australia has talked about it. There's many countries that will be huge countries, and 2 million people is nothing. Not to mention Syria, and what about Ukraine? They could use a lot of people who know how to farm. So really, like, when are we gonna, when is the world gonna stop the hypocrisy and take these refugees? Look at these people. She wants a life. She said she wants to get away from the harb, from the war. Okay, she wants to get away from the war. Canada, that's right, Canada. I forgot about Canada. Oh my gosh, Canada, my home and native land. True patriots, take in all the jihad command. God keep jihad, hopefully nice and free, so they can do to us what they have done to me. Okay, point is that the Canadians could definitely take in a lot. Canada's big. Okay, Canada is really, really big, and they Saudi Arabia has a whole area called the Empty Quarter. I don't think people can actually live there, but in any case, it's like really, really, really hot there. Greenland, Canada, Greenland is not exactly a great place, but bottom line, Qatar could certainly take them, and we had Mordechai Kedar, and he explained why Kedar should take them and how they could take them and how could they easily take them. Somebody writes, no Palestinians in South Africa. Well, you know what I mean? South Africa is a quite pro-Palestine place, so I think they could take them. Let's get some commentary from the one and only hostess with the mostest, Malka Fleischer, as she joins us. Malka, shalom, and welcome to the show.
Hi, Yishai. Thanks very much. I've been listening to the first part of your show, and I would like to acknowledge your rage. I want to say that I appreciate, and I'm sure that a lot of your listeners also appreciate, the non-clinical, dry, we will be advertising in the middle of this for, Band-Aids and facial cream, and then get back to sports and the weather type of coverage. It is personal, it is personal. This is not just the future of our country and the ideological nature of Israel, or even our service of God and what are the Jews and all that. And it is all that, but it's also our daily existence, our children, the kind of place that we raise our children in, the kind of future we're trying to build for these kids. And it is very, after all that we've gone through in the last 2 years as a nation and as families inside this nation, it is abhorrent to see the place that Israel is standing today, and the unreasonable quagmire that we suddenly find ourselves in after 2 years of lion-like bravery and warfare, and personal and national sacrifice, to find ourselves now being batted around like a tennis ball between countries, as if we're some third entity that other nations make decisions about in the midst of their F-35 deals. It's this is not what we did all this for. And this is not where Israel thought that we were headed. And this is not the kind of people that the Jewish nation is. And this is not what this struggle for indigenous justice was about. And we are mad, and you're mad. And I just wanted to say that I really liked hearing that. It was very vindicating.
Malka, I told the people that I knew in the first Trump administration, I said to them, as long as you guys are with us, you'll get our support. The minute you start to give away the land of Israel, we're going to give it to you on the head. And God is going to give it to you on the head. And I told them, they were Jews and non-Jews alike. I told them, don't mess with the land of Israel. Don't give away the land of Israel. Don't try to give away the land of Israel. We will fight you. And I remember I got reamed out by members of the administration in Trump 1 when they started doing the a deal, crappy deal of the century. That's what it was called, the crappy deal of the century. When they tried to do the crappy deal of the century, they tried to give away our land. We just went against them hardcore. And they called me and you don't this and you don't that. And you're just
right, you're going to make people angry, and we're working so hard in diplomacy, and this is not the tone.
Right. And you don't represent, and you don't this and that. And I was just I told you, and we told you, if you are going to try to push away the land of Israel, we are going to fight with you. We are going to fight with you. And that's what they're doing now. And it's time to fight. You pointed out something to me, that a lot of the news coverage has been very muffled. It's been subdued in the last few days. Like this thing is happening.
On this topic of the Abraham Accords and how it ties into this UN resolution and all this wording that really would seem to indicate. And, there are people out there, Yishai, you and I were in friend groups with a lot of pro-Israel activists and actors, right? I don't mean play actors. I mean, people who are involved, right? We're in these groups, and just so that people will understand, even as we talk about this, there are many people who say that this is all a diplomatic game, and that there is no Palestinian state on the table, and that Trump is manipulating the situation so that he'll get the deal that he wants, but ultimately it's all just wording, and nothing is going to come from it. And it's not I don't think that can be true. I do think that can be true. Maybe it's true, and that would be good if that was true. But we're not a plaything for diplomatic deals.
Why would I think it's even true? Why would I think it's true? Why do I think that everybody's playing? Trump is playing Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Syria, and who else? He's playing all of them so they could be cool with Israel. Get out of here. Get out of here. I see what's happening. What do you think? We're fools. We see where the bread is buttered. That buttered in the financial sense. We see where the bread is buttered. We see what's going on here. We see who he feels comfortable with. We see how Vance speaks about us. We see how Tucker speaks about us. We know what's going on. We're not stupid. He's
Okay,
making the deal with the
okay.
wrong people. I don't care.
Okay.
You know what? You know what? I don't even care. You're gonna if you somebody would talk about you and start calling you names and calling you things and being like, I'm just trying to help you out, Yishai, so I could play this other game. I'd be like, no, 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 no. You don't talk about my wife like that. And you certainly don't talk about the land of Israel like that. You don't give it away. And the fact is, it is away. The fact is that Gaza has not been retaken. The fact is, Judea and Samaria still has tons of jihad. Okay, so let's be real. Like, this is not like kind of happening. It's just on the diplomatic, but really what's happening. No, it's happening on all fronts, not to mention that the international community is recognizing this thing. And Netanyahu can protest all he wants, but if he's not going to take action to push back on this thing, it's becoming real. And this thing is real. You know what? They just caught 50 terrorists. You and I live right now broadcasting from close to Bethlehem. Yeah, the biblical Bethlehem. We live just a few clicks away from that. Yeah, Beit Lechem in Hebrew, Bethlehem in English, right? You know, they just caught 50 terrorists with tons of machine guns. You know what they wanted to do? They wanted to gun down Israeli drivers. Do you know who that is? That's you and our kids, okay, driving on those roads. Okay, and the reason is because there's a Palestinian Authority funded by the international community with a wink from the Americans and even the Israelis. Okay, and this thing lives right next to us, this monster. Okay, and now it's going to be, after 2 years of war, it's going to be recognized by the Americans at the Security Council. It's not a game. Okay, you don't play games with these things.
I don't have much to respond to you. Yishai. You know, Israel has been doing things a certain way for a really long time. And those things have become established maneuvers, I guess, in politics and in policy. I, like you, am inclined to take this matter seriously. I know there are people who don't want to take it so seriously, and I'm inclined to take it seriously. And I think it's foolish if there would not be anyone who would. But even if it is still the game, the deal, the whatever, it's wrong. You know, it's wrong for this to go on this way, and it's wrong that Israel cannot break out of these tired old loops. We need to move forward. We can't be moving in circles anymore.
Look at this.
The people of Israel demand to move toward progress, toward the future.
Look at this, Malka. First thing, I'm looking at Israel National News. They're using the old banner of the Abraham Accords, historic Israel-UAE agreement. They haven't, they're still using that. They're like, oh, Abraham Accords. Look what it says. Saudi has not given up on a Palestinian state. Source in Saudi royal family tells Israeli media that they would not normalize ties with Israel without a two-state solution based on the 1967 borders, okay? Basically, a source in the royal family addressed U.S. President Trump's remarks on Saturday about the purchase of an F-35 fighter jets and the upcoming meeting between the president of the United States and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. There won't be normalization with Israel without meeting the basic condition we said, which is a two-state solution based on the 1967 borders. Guess what? Saudi Arabia? Who needs ya? Who needs ya? Don't need peace with you. It's fine. It's quite all right. In any case, the only reason that you would have peace with us is if you would respect us for strength. Obviously, you see us as weak, and there's not going to be peace with us anyway. And we're not giving up our land for peace with you. Our land is way more valuable than peace with you. We've had war with you for 100 years. We'll have war with you for another 1,000 years. But you're not going to touch our land, okay? I don't want to be name calling, but bottom line is that we don't need this deal, and we don't need these F-35s either. We can fight with David slings and still beat our enemies. Okay, what's right is right. What ours is ours. God is with us. Our truth is with us. Our history is with us. And this weakness that we've had ever since we tied into America. You know, we haven't won one war since we tied into America. Not one war have we won since we became president. What does that mean? That means we haven't won a war decisively one time. Not in Lebanon.
When did that tying in happen?
After the 6 Day War. Immediately after the 6 Day War. Before that, we were tied into France. And then they broke off after the 6 Day War. And ever since then, ever since they told us not to build our own airplanes, and they're the ones that pushed down our throat the two-state solution, giving away the Sinai, shrinking Israel by 70%, the Palestine autonomy, the Palestinian Authority, Clinton, Arafat, Obama, shrinkage of Israel. Okay. And yes, there are many good factors to the U.S.-Israel relationship, but not when it comes at the cost of our land. Not when it comes at the cost of creating an enemy within our borders. Absolutely not. Malka, there is a guy, though, by the way, who kind of understands things on a deeper way. He is a vile anti-Semite. He is a guy who hates women, hates blacks, and has real issues. And yet I still see in him a spark of kind of genius. And his name is Nick Fuentes. And this guy, a lot of times he just has he has a much, like Tucker is a dodo bird. Okay, Candace is a nutball. But Fuentes is a sicko, and yet he has an ability to understand things on a deep level. I want you to see the following clip.
Okay.
Hold on.
Is currently reading The Jews versus Rome by Barry Strauss, and then we have to win the next one. I've seen many references to this as some kind of eternal conflict that goes far beyond the Jewish revolts against the Roman Empire. I've seen you mention it too. Rome versus Jerusalem. What does this mean?
Okay, so before he answers, let me just read this slower. BB recently said he's currently reading The Jews versus Rome by Barry Strauss, and that we have to win the next one, the war with Rome. I've seen this guy's writing to Nick Fuentes. He says, I've seen many references to this as some kind of eternal conflict that goes far beyond the Jewish revolts against the Roman Empire. I've seen you mention it too. Rome versus Jerusalem. What does this mean?
Oh, man. Oh, you really don't get it, do you? I've been saying it for years. Nobody listens. Netanyahu says it. Nobody listens. It's about Jacob and Esau, okay? It's about the Jews and the nations. For them, it's a cosmic battle. So there's something eternal about it, but it really does go back to the expulsion from Israel. It is about the temple. It is about the rebellions. For them, they see Rome as the epitome of the goyim that are obstructing God's will. They think that the Jews were chosen to bring God back into the world, to unlock the essence of God that is trapped inside the shards of, this is all like Kabbalistic mysticism. And they think that like we are standing in the way of that by impeding the Jews going to all the nations and rebuilding the temple and getting back to Israel. They think that we're preventing the universe from being repaired by the Jews. And this is embodied in the Roman Church, the Roman Empire, the modern Roman Empire, which is the United States. That's a very deep subject. I don't want to get all into it. I got into it in my group chat.
All right, so he goes on, but the bottom line is he somehow has an understanding, this guy Fuentes, has an understanding of the rebuilding of the temple, of the ingathering of the exiles, of even I think he was hinting to the concept of bringing God's presence down into this lower domain, into Jerusalem. He mentioned the Kabbalah. Do you see, Malka? Other like commentators
right, the
are
shards, the nitzotzot, that is a Hasidic principle. That is a Kabbalistic principle that there are like shards of light out in the world, and that it's our job to collect them.
Do you understand? Like this guy is not like with all of his
He gets like he understand, like he has some things that he so profoundly doesn't understand, but then there are some things that he like really understands.
I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if one day this guy is learning Torah in Bnei Brak. Okay, I would not be surprised. Like this guy, there's something about him that, and this is the same guy that said, I could put 6 million cookies in an oven. Like he's a sick dude, right? But he ain't no dummy, and he is just saying like, I understand what this is about. This is a conflict between, and he even hinted between Esau and Jacob, between Rome and Israel, and the ingathering of the exiles. And he understands that the stuff that I was talking about today is about even the United States slowing down the progress of the Jewish people's return, and now trying to divide the land of Israel, and really doing what Rome did, which is to divide the land, to create a Palestine, to keep Israel down. That's what the British did after they had this moment of glory of being able to help restart the Jewish state. They turned on us, and they were blocking people from coming home from the Holocaust. They were allowing people to burn in the ovens of Auschwitz. Okay, and they could have done so much more just to let us into our homeland. By the way, just on a deep Torah way, I think this is what it means: do not cook a kid in its mother's milk. I think what it means is the land of Israel is our mother, and she gives us milk, and when we try to come home, help us do it in sweetness. Instead, we like get cooked in the mother's milk. Like we come home, we're just kids in the literal sense of that word, and we're trying to nurture. And yet these terrorists and these dark things, they take that beautiful milk and they boil it. They want to cook us in it. Okay, they want to destroy us in this land. We're trying to head home from the Holocaust, and they capture us and they torture us and they throw us to Cyprus and throw us back into the ovens of the Holocaust. And so Fuentes is right here in this case. Fuentes is right. We are at a some kind of cosmic conflict, and I don't know if he says this, but the victor is assured. It's only a question of how many people will fall along the way. But victory for Jacob is assured in this case. And those that want to be within Rome and to love Israel, there is such a possibility. It's called Vishkon Yafet Be'ohalei Shem. Japheth, the son of Noach, will be subsumed under the tents of Shem. That's actually a very early phrase in the Torah portion of Noah. And what it means is that the good people of this world, both Edom, Rome, and the Islamic world, those who love Israel and want to see God's light can come in under the tents of Shem, the tents of Semite, right? Shem. How do you pronounce that in English? I don't know. But that is the root of, that is the root of Abraham. And yes, the nations can come under the root of Abraham. Yes, they can. There can be a redemption for this world that's beautiful and sweet. There can be such a redemption. And for Fuentes, there can be tshuva. There can be tshuva for Fuentes. But for haters, terrorists, murderers, there should be the death penalty, as I heard Minister Ben-Gvir talk about today when I translated his talking today at lunch. The enemies of Israel must be destroyed. The lovers of Israel should come in under the tents of Shem. Maka, we have so many lovers of Israel from all over the world, and they're on our program today. We have really hundreds and hundreds of people watching us live right now, about 1,500 people just watching live right now, and throughout the day there'll be much more because people want to come in under the tents of Shem, okay? They don't want to be part of the darkness. I believe that we can still revolt against the darkness. And by the way, the good people of America should should push back on Trump, said, we didn't elect you to do this, brother. We didn't elect you to do this. We didn't elect you to hate on Israel and to shrink it.
The very opposite. The very opposite. I mean, obviously they were interested in what Trump could do internally inside the United States and his unorthodox way of leading and his business sense and his world experience and his not being a career politician. All those things were attractive to Americans. But Americans also understood that here is a person who finally understands what the Middle East is and what Israel is and what Israel's place should be. And I don't know where he's sliding to, and I don't exactly know why. I mean, you pointed toward money, prestige, power, maybe, for the Jewish people also, we believe that Hashem controls the hearts of leaders. And, I can't say that I am an authority on why U.S. President Trump has turned the way that he has, but it is wrong. And it will not bring blessing.
No.
Also. And that's like a whole other conversation and a whole other show about not to mention that it won't work.
That's right. It will not bring blessing. And it won't bring blessing to Trump either. It will not bring financial and other blessings to him. Selling out Israel to suck up to the Qataris and make deals with the Saudis, it's not going to bring him blessings personally either. It certainly will not.
It's not going to bring the money, and it's not going to bring the prestige ultimately. And it's certainly not going to bring any kind of real peace. But also it is a stain on the American name. And for what? Really, for what? And this is one of those moments where I have to turn the mirror around a little bit. Now, obviously, Israel has what we call cheshbon nefesh. We have personal accounting to do, and we can't really blame anyone but ourselves for the position that we're in, because we should have been very clear and very decisive in our policies toward our land. And the fact that we weren't is really on us. That's the truth. It is on us. But since we are living in this world in which there is that we do have certain dependencies in this world, and we turn to the United States for as our ally, and America therefore is being asked to make a decision about itself and what it stands for, and who it lines up with. And this is really a moment for America, a moment that America can be great, or that America could take like a big tumbling step down. And I will say honestly that although, of course, Yishai, you mentioned before, we worry about ourselves on the roads and our children, and our children will have to wear a uniform one day and to go into the army. And what will they be facing if we don't deal with the threats now, before we let them rearm and rebuild and become bigger again and protected by the United States and an international force of soldiers? Like, I can't even imagine that. And with all that, I know that the future of Israel is secure. Whether it's for my kids, or whether it's for their kids, or whoever it's for, I know, because God promised us that the future of Israel is secure. There is nothing written about the future of the United States. We don't have documentation there. And therefore, I kind of implore you, America, for you, because I like you. I like America. I don't want to see America choose. It says, "V'bacharta b'chaim," choose life. And it says, of course, one of the most famous phrases, "I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you." I want you to be blessed. I want you to choose life. Malka wants that, but the people of Israel want that. The people of Israel like you. We're interested in you. We support you. We see the beauty in you. We see what's wonderful in your country. We see what's wonderful in your citizens. And we're not Christians. We're Jews, but we see what's beautiful in your faith, and we appreciate you for who you are. And we want you to thrive and prevail in your place on this planet. And if you go against us, that will not happen. I'm not threatening you. Malka Fleischer has no power. Okay? I'm not threatening you. I have no power to threaten you. I just know what our ancestors have told us to carry forward through generations, through fire and water and ice and starvation and burning, what they have told us to carry forth to tell you, which is that there is a plan for the Jewish people. There's a plan for the world. And it is good to align yourself with the plan. And it is bad to try and get in the way of the plan. So with that, I say, we're here talking about Israel and the future of Israel. And this is a show about Israel and the future of the Jewish people. But this is my little moment, my little corner, since I have, as we call in Hebrew, protexia, since I have my little piece of my 15 seconds of fame here on your show, Yishai. I'm using it to reach out to the people of America and basically beg you to do the good thing for you. Do the good thing for yourselves. Do the good thing for your country. Do not let anyone, even your cool and awesome leaders take you to a place that you don't want to go.
That's right.
It will go badly for you.
That's right.
And we don't want that. We want to bless you. We want to bless you from Judea. We want to bless you from Yerushalayim. Hashem wants to bless all the good people of the world. I pray that he's blessing you, that he's blessing us, that we're doing things the way that he wants. And that's my rant, Yishai.
Very good. I want to say, Malka, that I believe very much that we're heading towards a time where Judaism is unpacking in the land of Israel. I actually think that we're going through a transformation where in English, this could be called the transformation between Judaism to Judaism, which is Judaism infused in the land. In this show, and what we believe is that there's a light coming out from Jerusalem to the world, and that the ingathering of the Jewish people to the land of Israel is a great miracle and a great signal and a great light At the same time, there are Jews out there that are still out in the diaspora, and they are spreading Torah and Torah knowledge and commandments, and also outreach to the Gentiles. One of the main branches of that outreach, of that light, that's not an Israel-centered light in the same way, but it's a Torah-centered light. It's a bring people close to Judaism light, is Chabad, and they're out there teaching Judaism. And the reason I'm talking about this is while we were in gathering in Hebron with 40,000 people, showing that the land is ours, that we believe in the Abrahamic covenant, that we are the children in front of the forefathers and mothers. At the very same moment was another giant convention of Chabad rabbis in Brooklyn coming to the headquarters of Chabad. And one of our own rabbis, Malka, was there. Okay, Rabbi Nisan Nachshon, together with a rabbi from Kiryat Arba. And I just wanted to show you a little video about the giant gathering of rabbis that spread light out to the world. That as we were gathering in Hebron, they were gathering in Brooklyn to continue to spread the light internationally. Take a look at this. Okay, he says we're in the gathering of all the Chabad rabbis before taking the traditional big photograph.
For those who just arrived, please head over to the Brooklyn Avenue side of the photo. There is plenty of room on the Brooklyn Avenue side of the photo.
Woo! Look at all those rabbis. And those rabbis are not just personal rabbis, they're outreach rabbis. They're rabbis. This is not a gathering of just religious people, but rather people who express that religion outwardly, are broadcasters of that truth. And so that is
a lot of public service represented.
That's right. There you go.
In that group of people, a lot of giving.
Very good. Malka, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the show. And I want to bless you. Thank you for also getting angry, an anger of love, coming from the love of the Jewish people, the love of the Bible, the love of the land of Israel, the love of the truth, and the hate of evil. Ohavei Hashem, Sinura, lovers of God. You're supposed to hate evil. That's how we sing every Friday night. And so that's what you're doing. You are a great hater of evil and also a great lover of goodness and truth. We want to thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Malka.
Thanks, Yishai. I hope we'll have good news to report next week.
Amen. We certainly will. We're working on that third temple. It's being built. Newsflash. It's happening. Temple 3.0. Malka, thanks so much for being with us.
Bye.
And shalom. All right. We're going to take a tiny little baby break from serious conversation for just a second. I want to take a pause here and talk to you about something. First thing is, because I'm so heated up and excited, I forgot to say that the way to communicate with the show is through super chats, because super chats, thank you very much. Super chats are a great way for you to get your important comments read by me, and also a way to support the show so we can keep doing it. You know, the stuff that we do, we're trying to put out content every single day. It's niche pashut, it's lo pashut, it's not easy, and we're doing our best. And we gotta work. You know, mama needs a new, suit jacket. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is supporting our broadcasting helps us get things done. So super chat is one way, and you could super chat right now. You super chat. If you super chat, I'm going to read your super chat, and it's going to be a blessing for you. I'm going to send that blessing right back to you like a boomerang of a super chat. So that's number one. Number two, there's other great ways to support. For example, a really cute way to do it is buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. How could you forget that? Buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. Speaking of that, right now, my coffee cup is empty. It's empty. Hint, hint to my beloved family. Okay, look, it's backwards on the reversed camera, but it says Indigenous Judean. You could get this cup at Yishai Fleischer TV. You can get this cup here. Check that out. You could go there, and we've got these cups for sale on our web store. Also, you could go if you want to support bigger projects, including the beautification of the land of Israel. And beautification is exactly the opposite of what our enemies want. They want the crudification, shrinkification, badification, darkification. We want beautification. We call it Beautifite. And you can go to fightforisrael.org to help us buy tractors for this holy land and many other projects like restoring holy sites. Now, a lot of people have been writing to me things that are very beautiful and very nice and very what do you call it? Very complimentary. People write to me, Yishai, please run for PM. For Prime Minister. I just want to say, you got to know that I can't run for PM. I can run for Knesset. If you run for Knesset, then maybe you become a Knesset member. And if you do that, then maybe you can become a minister. And if you do a good job at being a Knesset member or minister, maybe you can run for prime minister. It's a big job keeping the lid on this kettle of the Jewish state. Okay. But the point is if you really believe that I should run, that's really very nice of you. And it would be a scary and amazing honor to try to work for the Jewish people and for this whole land, and I think for the world. So I just want to say, thank you very much, but can't run just directly for PM. Here, somebody else wrote, Yishai, when can we vote for you? Listen, we're voting for, when can I vote for you, H-Ami? When can I vote for you? Seriously, when can I vote for you? And finally, somebody wrote, I am not proselytizing. I'm stating truth. So kick me out of here then as once you're so narcissistic. We're not narcissistic here. I mean, being a show host and wanting to do you having your own channel called Yishai Fleischer TV, one might think that there's some narcissism involved. I do my best to be non-narcissistic. Certainly, I do my very, very best to believe that would be a horrible thing and try to only use my my voice to magnify God's name. But also, we cannot allow other religions to proselytize on this channel. I also want to thank Frida Alcone OM6RY for a donation of $1. That $1 is beautiful to me. That $1 is sweet to me. Thank you so much for your dollar. I appreciate that, Frida. Thank you so much. Baruch Hashem for that dollar that you giving me. You giving me $1 of blessing. I'm giving you $1 million of blessing right back. So thank you very much for that. That is a great gift. And I know that it comes from your heart. You took the time and your hard-earned money to give $1 to me. I appreciate it. I thank you. I bless you right back. I send blessings to your house and to your family and to your health and to your finances and to anything you need, to your vision and strength, everything. So keep going, Frida, and thank you so much for being out there. And thank you, friends, for being so sweet and good-hearted and good people around the world. I believe those good people. Okay, so we did a lot. We're going to keep doing a lot right now. We're going to get right back to it. Let me just take a little break. Let me see if I could get some more tea here. Hold on one second. Hey, family, Malka, can I have another cup of tea, please? Thanks so much. The love. Okay, I can't get into that right now. We'll deal with that at a different time. Important questions. I can't deal with it right now. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Hold on one second. I just asked, ask and you shall receive. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Hermes Visser, A12, sent over 140 ZAR. What's a ZAR? What currency is ZAR? Oh, South African Rand. I didn't know it was a ZAR. Why would it be a ZAR? All right. I got blessed from South Africa. Thank you I think I asked about the ZAR before, but I didn't learn. I'm going to try to remember the ZAR. Oh, is it South African Rand? Is the Z like South? I don't know. So to let me know about that. So thank you very much. And I know that economics are not easy in South Africa, so your blessing is really appreciated. And I want to thank very much Olivia from Colorado, who says, we love you, Israel. Thank you. Blessing the land of Israel, blessing the Jewish people. And Ashkenazi Zionist writes, Shalom, may God bless us all, also with a super chat. Thank you very, very much. Really much appreciated. And Jake, JJJ2112, says, Trump said he'd unleash hell. Israel didn't listen. I think that there's a truth to that as well, but not just because Trump said it, but because we should take care of our enemies. Yocheved, how are we doing? How are we doing, my beloved producer? How are we doing? Are we doing okay? Can we get to the Islamic part of the show today? We're going to talk a little bit about what Islam is. Oh, look at this. See, I only look at hold on one second, Yocheved, just 1 second. Karen says Israel is a pagan nation. No, that is not correct. Israel is not a pagan nation. Israel is the heart of monotheism and the service of God and bringing the presence of God into this world. So I'm sorry to say to you that that is just incorrect. And probably the people that think that Israel is a pagan nation are pagans themselves. You're probably a pagan, Karen. Okay, I don't know if you're being. I don't know if you're a pagan, but I know that you are misinformed. But you may be a pagan because you think Israel's a pagan, and that's messed up. See, Zwed Africanus Rand. Gotcha. So Zad is the Rand. Zad and Rand don't even rhyme well at all. And another, look at this. Look, what I am huge in South Africa. I am loved in South Africa. South Africa loves Yishai. Do you know that I actually met Pastor and parliamentarian Mushu just now? I was in. He came to Hebron, and I got a chance to tour him. That's awesome. Look at this. What am I? I'm huge in South Africa. I'm loved in. Narcissism kicking in. Don't want that to happen. Thank you very much, Amanda Larson. And I want to bless you so much from the land of Israel. Thank you. And God bless South Africa. We need a little South Africa blessing over there. That country can go to darkness or it can go to light. And thank you very much. Super sticker from my God. And there's like some kind of like plus sign over there. This person must be a big math person. My God, with that big plus sign. It must be some kind of math club. And that is wonderful. And you are blessed. Thank you very much for your blessing to me as well. See, look at this. People say, we love you in South Africa. Karen says, ban me. What do you have, like a YouTube death wish? Like, ban me. I want to see you ban me. Ban me. How about instead of banning you, we're just not going to give you too much attention. And I also want to think, looks like asking for some super chats was the right move. Question to know 662 says, time to conquer the hate. Time to conquer the hate. I like that. We never have good slogans on our side. Time to conquer the hate. Time to conquer the hate. We won't let hate win. If Karen really feels the need to go, then you can let her go. I think she needs help to be released. You know, some people need a massage to be released of the stress. Maybe she needs to leave. Okay, more super chats. May Davis says, Am Yisrael Chai. The nation of Israel lives. May Israel succeed, and may we see the third temple built soon in our days. May we see Esau and Ishmael repent soon before there is any more suffering and loss of life. I agree with you. And I agree with you about that. And there will be people from all of those parts of the world that will join Israel, no doubt. And South Africa is thanking you for the refugees. I'm sure they're going to make fine additions to your workforce. And I want to see more Arabs that self-identify as Palestinians make it to South Africa. And from time to time, here's an interesting question. Shalom Rabbi, how do I book a tour to see the mamas and the papas? That's easy. You go to, my kids are crying in the background for some reason, it's bothering me. You go to hebronfund.org, hebronfund.org/tour, and you could go visit Hebron, and I'll probably be there to greet you. Hebronfund.org will bring you to a visitation in the mamas and papas, the tombs of the patriarchs and matriarchs. So thank you for that very important question. And now it looks like that since we're getting so many comments, it looks like all the baddies are starting to join up. So we have all these like haters, like Free Palestine. I agree, of course, Free Palestine. Give us the Free Palestine. Can we have your Free Palestine already? You know what I mean? You're giving enough. I'll take two. I'll take that in Jordan as well. Can we have Free Jordan as well? Free Jordan, Free Palestine, Free Gaza. Give us all your what you want to give away. We'll take what you don't want. You obviously don't love the land of Israel, so we will take it. So thank you very much. And indeed, you're a blessing to me, all the bad guys, all the darkness, like this guy. Israel is a satanic apartheid country, and you are nothing but a Qatari, Chinese, Russian, Iranian bot. Look at these bots. Yeah, bots. Bots. You are a big bot, okay? You are a big, fat butt. Okay, I mean bot. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, all the good people. And now it's time to get back to It's time to get back to some more content for you. We have about a half an hour. Let's talk a little bit about Islam today. Very important videos that I want to show you to really talk about the heart of Islam. What is Islam, and how do we counter it? Should we counter it? Is it something that we need to counter? Let's hear from ex-Muslims and a few Muslims themselves. First, one of the most outspoken and articulate of all ex-Muslims is Brigitte Gabriel, a force of nature, an amazing intellectual, an amazing truth teller. She comes out of the Lebanese Muslim life, and she's got a lot to tell us. Brigitte, let's hear from you. Explain to us what really Islam is, and we'll be all watching and trying to learn to understand if this thing is, is as bad as we hear, is it dangerous for us? What is the underlying intellectual DNA of Islam?
In order for you to understand why Western civilization is very different than the Islamic world, you need to understand the history of Islam. When Prophet Muhammad supposedly revealed his revelation from the angel Gabriel that he is supposed to be the last of the prophets in the early 600s, he started preaching in his own city, Mecca. He tried to recruit friends and followers to be able to spread his religion. And he tried for 12 years and failed. And after 12 years, he was only able to recruit his immediate family and friends. So he decided, if I go to Medina, which was the Jewish hub of Arabia, the business hub where the Jews lived, if I go there and preach my religion to them, if they accept me, that will buy me respect and stature between my own people, and they will accept me.
Okay, so you understand that Muhammad first wanted to recruit the Jews to Islam, and he's like, they'll buy into it. They're monotheists. I'm just updating, like your phone sends you an update. You're like, okay, let me update my phone because I'm sure I trust Samsung or Apple or Google to update the phone. That's what he was like. I'm going to go to the Jews and be like, there's an update to your religion. I'm sure you're going to buy into it.
So Prophet Muhammad started borrowing a lot from the Old Testament to make his religion more palpable to the Jews, to make it a lot similar. This is why you see a lot of similarities between Judaism and Islam. For example, Jews don't eat pigs, Muslims don't eat pigs. Jews pray a few times a day, Muslims pray a few times a day. Jews fast on Yom Kippur, Muslims fast on Ramadan. And this is why you started seeing a lot of good writing in the beginning of the Quran when Prophet Muhammad was saying all the good things about the people of the book.
Right. So the early part of the Quran has a lot of favorable language about the Jews because it was written in the early part. So he's out there with the Jews of Medina. He's trying to convert them. He sees a lot in them. He likes their stories. He's just saying, isn't it awesome? I'm your latest prophet. And it's going to be great. Good look, here I am. I'm here to be your latest prophet, and I'm sure you're going to love what I have to say because it's awesome. And I use a lot of your stuff, and I'm sure you're going to buy right into it, right?
He took his message and went to Medina trying to recruit the Jews, talking about the people of the book, talking about how similar the two religions are. When they refused to accept him and follow him as the last of the prophet, that's when he turned against them and started killing them and started expelling them. That's when Islam went.
Wait, what happened? Oh, Muhammad actually is a murderer of Jews? He's actually a guy who murders whole tribes, commits acts of genocide against tribes? So Muhammad is actually a mass murderer? He's actually a warlord because the Jews wouldn't accept his religion. And that's in the Quran. The Quran's telling you that Muhammad killed Jews. And you have to understand this point. If you want to understand Islam, you must understand this point. They say that Muhammad is not a god, that he's not God or a son of God or not God. He's a prophet. But listen carefully. They say that all of his acts are perfect. He's never done anything but perfection. Every one of his acts that's written in the Quran is perfect. So to me, that means that he is a God, okay? That he is a God. And so even though they claim, no, he's just a prophet, we're monotheists, they're not monotheists. They say that he is a God. And he killed Jews. He murdered tribes of Jews. And so therefore, their God or their God prophet murdered Jews. Do you understand how that impacts their theology and their life, their number one God, their person, is a murderer of Jews. So that's what they think is kosher. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to murder Jews because that is what their prophet God did, and it's in the Quran.
Went from a spiritual movement for the first 12 years of Islam into a political movement cloaked in religion after the year of the Hijrah, after Muhammad went to Medina and the Jews did not accept him. He became a military warrior and declared war on them and started expelling them. Jews and Christians became dhimmi, or second-class citizens. They were only allowed to stay alive and not be killed only by paying the jizya or the protection tax. So they had a choice: convert to Islam, or if you want to stay alive, you have to pay the jizya or protection tax, living as dhimmi in the Islamic nation.
Okay, so there was created immediately the idea of a second-class citizen, and she's going to explain what that looked like. But the bottom line is, the Jews, people of the book, are a protected class, but protected only so much as that they could live as the word second-class citizen is a misnomer. It means a degradation. It means a daily humiliation in the streets. It means really objectifying. What's the word? It's to really demean. It's demeaning. That is the way that Jews and Christians live under Islam.
Christians and Jews could not ring church bells. Jews could not blow the shofar. Christians could not ring church bells. They could not pray publicly. Christians and Jews could not gather together and build new churches or new temples. And the way they paid the jizya or the protection tax was in a monthly ceremony where they would get together downtown and the Jew would kneel on his knee and hand his goods to the mullah, who would take the goods as the price for buying the protection. And in many areas, Jews and Christians were given necklaces to wear as a receipt that they paid their jizya or their protection tax. Jews considered najis under Islam. Najis is bodily fluid. Najis is garbage. Najis is dogs. Najis is dirty. So Christians and Jews were treated as second-class citizens. Islam continued to grow. As Islam grew, more people became dhimmi or second-class citizens. Jews and Christians were given identifiable clothing. The yellow star, which was given to the Jews, that most people think is a German invention. It was actually an Islamic invention in the 9th century in Iraq by the second Khalif al-Mutawakkil of Iraq, who invented the yellow star for the Jews to be identified as they walked down the street. Because Jews were considered najis,
So you got that, the yellow star thing. People think it's European. No, it's a Muslim invention in order to humiliate the Jews, in order to degrade the Jews, in order to make them stick out as a lesser thing. They're vermin, they're scum, they're, that is fundamental to the ideas of, you want to call it fundamentalist Islam? Let's just call it Islam. There are those who have different interpretations of Islam. There are more moderate interpretations. But the normative Islam, this is what they believe.
Muslim man or a Jew walked on the same side of the street, the Jew had to cross the other side so the Muslim man can walk, so he's not dirtied by the filth of the Jew. Christians were given the zunnar, the belt, which most of you men are wearing right now. That was an Islamic invention for the Christians. Islam continued to grow. They went all the way to Jerusalem. They conquered Jerusalem. Christians couldn't ring their church bells in Jerusalem. The Pope in Rome in 1090 told the Christians, how could you sit idly by and allow your brethren to be suffer like this in the Holy Land? You need to go liberate the Christians. You need to go help the Christians. That's why the Crusaders were launched. The Crusaders...
Okay, let me just mention that I am not going to be pro-Crusader here at all. Brigitte Gabriel is a Christian. The Crusaders came to Jerusalem. They gathered the Jews in synagogues and burnt them. Okay, and they destroyed many communities along the way. One of the reasons that the Pope had to send the Crusades also was because there was actually Crusaders without a job, and they were all day just making a lot of trouble with their swords and killing people needlessly. So he sent them on a mission out there. But in the meantime, they killed a lot of Jews. But yes, what she's saying is true, that they wanted to liberate the Holy Land from the evil rule of Islam. Their own rule wasn't that great either, especially at first. But anyway.
The Crusaders were not launched because they just felt like waking up in the morning and going and converting a bunch of Muslims or beheading them. The Crusaders were launched to liberate Jerusalem. And they were able to liberate Jerusalem for less than 100 years before Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, Saladin, took it back, and Jerusalem remained under Islamic control until 1967, when the State of Israel liberated Jerusalem, where Christians, Jews, and Muslims could pray under the same sky.
Her point is correct-ish about Jews liberating Jerusalem 1967. But in truth, the way that Arabs see it is that the real Islam was kicked out of the Holy Land in 1917 by General Allenby and the British forces that came to liberate the Holy Land from the Ottoman Turkish rule. And soon after, at the very same moment, launched the Balfour Declaration, which recognized the nascent Jewish state and the building of a Jewish state. And if you read the Hamas documents, they basically say that the British reconquered the land vis-a-vis the new crusade that came in 1917, and they placed the Jews as Western holders, as Western representatives of the crusades. And they say, really, the Jews today are the crusaders. We have to get rid of them. Of course, that's not true. We are not part of that crusade. Yes, the British did a great thing by liberating the land from the Muslims, and they did a greater thing by helping the Jewish people come back to the land of Israel. But then they turned their back on us. They sided with the Arabs, and we had to get rid of them. And we terrorized them and evicted them, struck them. Our terror was a military terror. We struck their military targets and kicked out the British. Very important. We liberated our land from the supposed West that was supposed to grant us the land of Israel or recognize our rights, but they turned on us, went pro-Arab, and we had to get rid of them. So really, the land of Israel was liberated from Islam in 1917, but Brigitte is right that it was completed in 1967.
The Crusaders continued fighting Islam, and for 300 years they tried and failed. And by the 1300s, the Crusaders disappeared because they could not win against Islam. Islam continued to expand. They went all the way to Central Europe. They went all the way to China. They went to India. They conquered Spain. They changed the name of Spain from Spain to Andalusia. And they started, as they advanced, as they conquered more nations, more people paid the jizya, or the protection tax. And this is how the Islamic Empire grew. It went all the way until they was stopped at the gates of Vienna on 9/11. 9/11 is not a date that Osama bin Laden just picked out of a hat. 9/11 is a symbolic date in the Islamic calendar. By the 1600s, Islam had covered more of the earth's surface than the Roman Empire did at its peak. Between the 1600s and the 1800s, the Europeans were experiencing the European Industrial Revolution, where the Europeans were able to invent products on factory lines, where they are able to make money and sell products, which gave them the money to build a strong army in order to fight the Muslims. And that's how they were able to stop them at the gates of Vienna on 9/11. The Europeans started the pushback against Islam. They pushed them out of Europe. They pushed them out of all the way to the Middle East and North Africa. By 1924, the Islamic Empire ended. In 1924, the Islamic Caliphate ended in Turkey by President Ataturk, who was a secularist. He ended the Islamic Empire, and he gave women rights to vote. He gave women a right to an education, a right to work, a right to choose a husband. He forbid women from wearing the hijab. He forbid men from wearing the beard. The Muslims hate him so much that they consider him a Jewish agent because they believe that his mother in her bloodline was Jewish, and that was the influence on Ataturk. By the time the Islamic Empire or the Islamic Caliphate or the Islamic State ended in 1924, the Islamic Caliphate had existed for 1400 years, and it ended less than 100 years ago. By the time the Islamic Caliphate ended in 1924, 270 million people around the world were killed by Islam. 270 million. And we didn't have weapons of mass destruction, and there was nuclear weapons. All of these people were killed, butchered by the sword.
Okay, so that's Brigitte Gabriel explaining to you the history of Islam. Let's now jump right to a video that takes it from the Islamic Caliphate that existed for over 1,000 years and converts it to how they kind of see Israel today. Okay, how many Islamic countries are there? Asks this.
How many countries can Arabs and Muslims lay claim to? Serious question. There are 57 Muslim countries on this planet. 22 of them are Arab, and now they're claiming to also be indigenous to the land of Israel. Here's the thing. You can't claim to be Arab and Muslim, which the Palestinians proudly do, while also claiming to be indigenous to the land your empire conquered. These colors on their flag represent the Islamic Caliphates, which conquered half the civilized world at the time. Arabs and Muslims are the occupying and dominant force across the Middle East and North Africa. This is why 2 billion people in the world are Muslim. Imagine a person living in America proudly claiming to be a British Christian while also claiming to be Cherokee. It's insane. Being indigenous means having a distinct language, culture, and connection to the land that predates colonization. But the Palestinian collective boasts about being Arab and Muslim, clinging to the identity of the conquerors, not the...
Okay, so he's pointing out what Brigitte Gabriel was telling us, which is this is a conquest religion. This is a conquer. They have conquered, and they became the hugest force that kind of conquered the world. And he showed you the map here. She said it before. They were bigger than the Roman Empire. So they're the conquerors. They are not indigenous. They came out of Saudi Arabia, this ideology, and most of these people. So they came and they conquered, and now they're also claiming to be indigenous. We'll talk about that in a minute.
The conquered. There is nothing distinct about their culture, language, or religion. In fact, it's that of the imperialists. Yet they...
Right, imperialism. People get very confused about that. They think that when I say the word nationalism, they think, oh, nationalism is Nazism. I'm like, no, Nazism is imperialism. Nationalism is when you love your land, your country, your language, your place. Imperialism is where you want to conquer the world. That's what Islam is. It's an imperialist religion. It's a religion that wants to conquer the world. We're going to see videos about them conquering the world in just a second. They are a conquering religion. They kill the other guys, or they subsume the other guys' narrative, okay? There is no more greater cultural appropriator than Islam. They come into a place like Hebron, and they see the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs. They're like, these people buried here are all great Muslim prophets. This building was built by a Muslim. It's now a Muslim site. Then they have their European friends who are like, oh, yes, very much. It's true. Yes, this building is actually a Palestinian World Heritage Site, says UNESCO. So they have their little Euro-secularist partners for this conquest. You know, they've already become Dahimis in their lands. But this gentleman is pointing out that they play it both ways. They say, you know, we're conquerors, but we're also the indigenous, and we're also the victims. They play every card they get to hold on, to take away land, and to take away control from the Jews or from others.
Feed on Western ignorance, on people who know nothing about the Middle East, people living in the US, Canada, France, the UK, who feel guilty about their own colonial past. I guess that's how they sell the lie that Arabs and Muslims are indigenous and are able to rebrand a Muslim conquest movement as anti-colonial liberation.
Did you see that? Did you see that? They're able to rebrand a colonial movement as post-colonial liberation. That is brilliant, okay? Somebody give these guys the Oscar, and the Oscar goes to, or the Emmy, or I don't know what. There's got to be awards, you know, there's got to be awards. really, I want you to hear that phrase again because it's so smart. I love this. Okay, let's just hear that. So they're able to sell the lie to the ignorant West
that Arabs and Muslims are indigenous and are able to rebrand a Muslim conquest movement as anti-colonial liberation.
Do you understand what he's saying? He's like the Muslims, they're the only ones that still, the Arab Muslims are the only ones who still go into Africa and get slaves. Okay. They are colonialists and imperialists. And yet they brand themselves on American college campus as post-colonial liberation movement.
See, in the Western liberals' obsessive quest for moral purity, they think they're fighting colonialism when in fact, they're supporting it. Before the Arab-Muslim conquests, Lebanon was Phoenician, Jordan was Nabatean, Syria was Aramaean and Assyrian, Egypt was Coptic, Iran was Persian, Zoroastrian, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria were Amazigh, and Israel was Jewish. The only reason that Arabs and Muslims exist anywhere in these lands is because their ancestors committed genocide on the indigenous people and forced Islam on them. You can hate what I'm saying because it's not popular, but you can't prove me wrong.
Awesome. I think that, by the way, is a great video. He did a great job, and he kept it very tight in a short. He said what I would say in like a half an hour. He said in a short, and I really want to give respect to this creator and influencer. Great job and a lot of truth. But let's hear also from a Palestinian. Okay, somebody who was self-identified as a Palestinian, and how they grew up within the Palestinian movement. Let's hear what that sounds like. Let's see what the Arab Muslims that live right next to me right now as I'm sitting here, what they believe.
I was a Palestinian Muslim, and I was taught to never seek peace with Jews. In the Quran I read that it's forbidden from me to take Jews or Christians as my allies, and that if I do, Allah would no longer guide me, which means I would burn in hell. And from the hadith, I was told, never give a greeting of peace to the kuffar. I learned how serious these commands were the hard way. I was in the West Bank helping my family harvest olives, and I see this Jewish family walking down from their homes. And I teasingly suggested, and salam alayhum. And of course, the joke went over.
He's saying, I was going to greet them, the neighbors, and just say, I told my family, should I say hi to them? Should I say hi to these Jews walking next to me?
Over everyone's head. My uncle specifically warned me that if I ever again suggested such a thing, he and all my other uncles would force me out of Palestine. I grew up in this, even within the States, this culture that had incessant disdain for Jews. As a small child, I was taught Muhammad's prophecy that the last hour, Yom al-Qiyamah, will not come until the Jews side with the Dajjal and the Muslims war against the Jews and wipe them out. So in a Muslim's mind, a Jewish state with a strong military is a threat that must be defeated in order for the day of judgment to come.
Are you noticing that this person is hiding their identity? It's obvious that this person is real, but he has to hide his identity, or else these guys are going to hunt him down and kill him to this very day.
Consider the implications of this. This isn't about land. It's not even about Al-Aqsa Mosque. It doesn't matter if Israel picks itself up and moves to the North Pole. As long as there is a strong Jewish presence anywhere, the Muslim Ummah will still hate them and see them as a threat. The Qatari Sheikh Muhammad al-Muraykhi said it best when he said, "We do not treat the Jews as our enemies just because they occupied Palestine."
Right? So it's not about the land. It's not about the land. If it's not just about the oil, they've taken our land, and that's anathema to the Islamic religion, which it is, but it's not only about that. It's not only about that, because they hate it when people take their land, but they've got a specific beef with the Jews.
Or because they occupied a precious part of our Arab and Islamic world. We will treat the Jews as our enemies even if they return Palestine to us, because they are infidels. They rejected Allah.
You see, it goes back to that the Jews rejected Muhammad. Muhammad is a this supposedly a prophet, but he's not a prophet. He's a god because they say he's perfect. They rejected. Does that sound familiar, by the way, that the Jews rejected somebody else's religion that came late in the game, right? There's like this thing, right? Somebody comes along being like, I've got an update. I've got the new religion. You guys should buy into my religion. And the Jews are like, no, we're going to stick with the Abrahamic way, with the faith of our forefathers. And then like they turn on them, the Christians, then the Muslims, they just kill them. Like, you rejected God. Hey, we were here before you. We had our way of serving God. In any case, right now we're talking about Islam. Islam has a beef with the Jews because the Jews rejected God, and it's in the Quran. Okay, at least in Christianity, it doesn't say that Jesus killed Jews. Okay, it doesn't say that. It just says that that they didn't accept him. But okay, and so some of the writings there say that the Jews are blinded. Fine, okay. Later on, people the church started killing Jews and doing inquisitions on Jews. But in Islam, the killing of Jews is what the leader, the God prophet Muhammad, did. So hating Jews and killing Jews is like part of the MO. It's part of the MO, and here it is because they rejected Allah
and his messengers. What I'm getting at here is that as long as Islam is the ideological stronghold in the region, there is no negotiations for peace. Forget about it. The religion does not allow it.
And certainly for those who practice it hardcore, like Hamas, you can't leave them on the land because they will always attack you. It's a deep ideological, philosophical basis of their life.
Simple. This is why one of my mission statements is to witness to Muslims, because it took divine intervention for me to be cleansed of the extreme anti-Semitism that was entrenched in my mind and heart. And only then was I able to come to love my Jewish neighbor. And I believe the same can be done for the rest of my community.
Well, I wish you a lot of luck, sir. I want to remind this gentleman that he's speaking behind a cloak because he's so nervous about what these people will do to him as he's trying to fix his community. Bezrat Hashem, you should be successful in cleansing your community. Absolutely. And I believe that. And I believe we should be talking to the Islamic world. I think we should be teaching them, but understand the problem. Just to give you a sense of what it really looks like in, what do you want me to show you, America or Israel first? Let me show you what happens in Israel. The following video is of a Knesset member whose name is Ayman Ouda. Ayman Ouda. He happens to be that he comes from the same neighborhood that I was born in Israel, okay, which is a mixed Arab-Jewish neighborhood. Meaning to say there's an Arab neighborhood that borders a Jewish neighborhood, but it's pretty much mixed because, Haifa is very liberal. And this Arab community happens to be an unusual Arab community because the rest of the Muslim world calls them infidels themselves because they're Ahmadi, which means that they believe that there's a different lineage of, they're a little bit more like Shiites. They believe in a different lineage. In any case, that's an internal Arab Muslim war. But they are protected by Israel, and they have one of the most beautiful neighborhoods you've ever seen, overlooking the Mediterranean. It's like those white places that they have in Greece, overlooking the Mediterranean. It's gorgeous. So they're wealthy, successful, protected by the state of Israel. And one of their sons became a Knesset member. That means he's a member of the Israeli parliament. His name is Ayman Ouda. Okay, let's watch Ayman Ouda and what he's saying in Knesset. I'll translate. You are in an ideological, you have an ideological, mashber is a crisis. You have an ideological crisis. He's yelling in the Knesset from the Knesset plenary. You're going crazy just as you're going crazy right now. You're a bunch of weak, like, what's it called? Wimps. A bunch of wimps you are. He says you're a bunch of wimps. Second time he says you're a bunch of wimps. He accentuates. Third time he says a bunch of wimps. That's an Arab cadence there. Okay, you're a bunch of wimps. And notice that's what happens when you give out as a wimpy message. the Arab. Here's a guy who's protected by the Jews, who has every education, every opportunity. He's a Knesset member, for God's sakes, and a lawyer, but he's yelling at the Jewish state, says you're a bunch of wimps. That's who you are. That's who you are. And he's about to say, he says you are going to fly out of here. Ta'ufu, it's like an Israeli slang kind of way, saying you're going to get the hell out of here. You're gonna fly out of here. You're gonna ta'ufu, like fly out of here. And only the Palestinian people are gonna stay on this land. This is an Israeli Knesset member. This is an Israeli. He's getting paid a big Israeli Knesset salary, and he's yelling at the Jews, saying, "You're weak. You're weak. You're weak. You're gonna get the hell out of here." And only the Palestinian people are going to stay. And the accursed occupation will be over. Which occupation does he mean? Do you think that he means to say the occupation of since 1967, the 6-Day War? No. Arabs like him, Muslims like him, when they say occupation, they mean the occupation that started in 1917 and certainly in 1948. He means Israel. I'll just make it easy for you if you don't know the dates. He means Israel. The occupation of Israel will end, says Ayman Uda. Now think about what Brigitte Gabriel said. Think about what the former anti-Semitic so-called Palestinians said that we showed, okay? The deep hate for Israel, the deep hate for the Jewish people, and he's yelling it from the Knesset plenum in our Jewish state. Okay, what does that say about the Jewish state, that it allows such vitriol in its own Knesset building? And what will arise is the state of Palestine here on this land. On your land and against your will, there will be a Palestine in this land. Israel will be destroyed, says Ayman Uda, a Knesset member. Imagine if an American congressman or senator would be like, yeah, and America's going to be destroyed, and my whatever I represent is going to rule this place. Okay, you can have that opinion, but you're going to have that as a congressman, senator, or a Knesset member? It's absurd. And they're yelling back to him, it shall never be. It shall never be the way you say it. Okay, so that's Ayman Uda, and he is yelling. And he's an Arab Muslim, comes from the best place, comes from every opportunity, and that's what he's yelling. Let's look at one more video of what that takeover looks like in the United States. This is an amazingly explicit. I don't mean that there's anything dirty or curses here. I don't mean that it's unacceptable to watch. I mean to say, just it's so plain, it's so obvious. Do you want to see what the takeover looks like? Here's how the takeover looks like.
So this is what we're doing. So we're praying at churches now. That's what we're doing, Sheikh. Wow. Astaghfirullah. Look at the brothers lining up at the church. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. So where are we, man? We at the church? Y'all pray at the church? Y'all praying at the church? What are we doing here, man? Why have we gathered here? Okay, mashallah. We're going to convert the church into a masjid. Okay, man. Y'all was scaring me for a minute. Get the khutbah, habibi. Get the khutbah. Yalla, inna alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Hey, beginner stages.
Okay, there you go. The church was taken over, and this black Muslim, and I wonder, I feel like his parents were not Muslims, and most likely his parents were actually, his great-grandparents were enslaved by Arab Muslims from Africa, and forcibly taken to become slaves and sold, and but now he's become a Muslim. And now he's taking over this church. They're taking over this church, and they are converting it to a mosque. And they're telling you straight out, this is our program. This is our program. This is what we're about. And so you have a very professional program, a very old program to conquer the world, to hate the Jews, certainly to fight Christianity. You heard that from Brigitte Gabriel. I'm not a Christian. I'm not siding with Christianity. I'm not going to side with that in terms of a religion, but I certainly believe that the world should not be conquered by Islam. And I think that the world should be fall in love with the path of Abraham and choose that path. Okay. And I hope that the light of Jerusalem would shine to the world, but of course by choice, not by conquest. But understand who you're dealing with. And then when you have Mamdani, okay, and this Mamdani, you know what he's about, right? He comes in and he takes over your New York City, and he is going to build those mosques, and he's going to convert those churches into mosques. That's what it's about. It's about conquest, and the conquest can come in various forms. And when President Trump is backing the division of the land of Israel, that is who he's backing. That same guy that you just saw take over the church, they want to take over the Holy Land. And you know what? The churches should rise up and Texas should rise up. That's your business. My business is to defend my land. My business is to yell about my land. Okay? You should be yelling about your land. I got to yell about my land. But that President Trump and his two Jewish advisors are going to go with the Saudis to the Security Council to give away my land? That is reprehensible and unacceptable, and it shall be fought. And this evil decree shall be annulled. And those people that want to destroy Israel, it will boomerang upon them. And we should never give up our land to these barbarians. I wouldn't give it to them if they were super nice either. I don't need to, because they're tricky. They could play the peace game. They know how to play peace. And we should do it for peace. Yes, Abraham Accords. Don't you want peace and prosperity? I know your tricks. I know how you operate. And you're not going to take our land. Not with Trump's help. Not with Vance's help. Not with Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Because Allah is with the Jews. And you haven't been able to defeat us in 100 years. And you won't defeat us now either. Allah is bringing us back. God is bringing us back. And everybody in this world should fight that conquest and fight for their own identity and bring that identity closer in alignment with Israel and Yerushalayim. That's light. And these are the forces of darkness. I want to tell you about a midrash, and with this, I'm going to start finishing off. There's a midrash Jewish lore that says that at the end of times, the great bull will fight the great whale. That's the midrash. And that at the end, what's going to happen is that the bull will, what's it called, ram the whale and kill it, but at the same time, the whale will take its fin and slaughter the bull. And then the righteous will eat from the meat carcass of these animals. That's what this very mysterious lore, Jewish lore, has to say. And I have an explanation for this lore. It's my explanation. God has put it into my head to say. The bull represents America, the West, Rome, because of the bull market, right? The aggressive bull market. You know, you go downtown to New York City. What represents downtown New York? The Merrill Lynch bull, right? And it's golden. That was a great idea. Let's make a golden bull. Does anybody think it's a problem to put a golden bull as a big statue in downtown Manhattan? Does anybody have any objection to that? No, I think it's fine. Anybody have a problem with a big golden bull? I don't know. Something telling me there's a problem with that. I don't know. I guess it's okay. Big golden bull in downtown Manhattan. A big golden calf. Okay. That represents America and the West. And the whale, it represents Islam. Why? How does the whale represent Islam? It's a darkness swimming, this dark mass swimming, swallowing everything up into submission, under the sea, into the darkness. It is a machine of putting a veil on everybody, right? You got to put the veil, you got to cover up, you got to subsume into the darkness of Islam. Submit, 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 submit. That's their whole religion. Submit to the will of Allah, whatever, to the strength of conquest. Okay. And these forces will fight one another. And in the end, this middle entity that sits between East and West, which has the best of the East and best of the West and can fix the East and can fix the West, this entity is Israel. And that when these two forces, these two Goliath mammoths collide, they will neutralize each other. And Israel is going to come out to be the light that has resilience and truth and true spiritual teachings for a true synthesis of body and spirit, of worship of God, channeling desires properly, serving God in love and in joy, overcoming one's base desires, but channeling them properly towards a worship of God, having children and teaching them, sharpening them in the service of God, bringing people up 3 times a year, Jewish people 3 times a year to Jerusalem, and other Gentiles 1 time a year from the whole globe to serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in Jerusalem, to have a house of prayer. My house will be a house of prayer for all nations. That's what Israel is going to be. It's going to help bring a world, give birth to a world that is going to come out of the ashes of that collision between East and West. And the best of the West, in which there's a lot of knowledge, and the best of the East, which is there's a lot of submission to God's will. The best of those things are going to come out, as I said before, when Japheth will come under the tents of Shem. That means that the good people of this world will bring their A game, they bring their best stuff in the service of God, and it'll be through the conduit that is called Yerushalayim, God's abode. All right, friends, it's been an absolute honor and pleasure to be with you. I want to thank everybody, including also Yeri Kuroz, who sent us a super sticker. Thank you so much, and became a member as well. Thank you. And Amber Rodriguez, who sent $2. Thank you so much. It makes a humongous difference, and we so much appreciate it. And your friendship and your love makes a difference. Your little donations and efforts, your support gives me strength, gives us strength. Am Yisrael is Chai. The nation of Israel lives. Strength will be continuous. We shall overcome the evil decree that is coming to the Security Council. The Security Council will be null and void, and there'll be a new Security Council in the globe that's going to emanate from Jerusalem. Yes, the good people of this world will come to Jerusalem and say, we want to make a Security Council to bring security and prosperity to the world, but we want to sit in Jerusalem so we can nurture from the God of Israel and not from the false gods, the pagan gods, the gods of blood and submission of people under treading on people underfoot. That's no longer going to be the God. I want to bless you wherever you are and give you strength. My job is to give you strength, and you are giving me strength. I send you blessings of God's face in your house, in your health, in your prosperity, and in your study of Torah. May you be able to come closer to the God of Israel. May you see Israel's strength in the 3 pillars of strength, which is military, economic, and of course, spiritually. May the light of Jerusalem shine into your house wherever you are. God bless you from the land of blessings, and shalom. And thanks again. And thank you to my producer, Yo, of course.